afternoon, how are y'all doing? My name is Jacob. Welcome back, or welcome to Tired Reads if you're new here. My name is Jacob. Welcome to day 10, I think, of Winter Reads, and we are talking about my top 10 favorite books of the year of 2021, and this was a doozy. I've been putting off this video because I haven't been able to decide, but I think I did. And even then, it's still wishy-washy. I don't know. But first, we got 5 honorable mentions. So we're going to dive into those first. First up on our honorable mentions is, let's get over a little so I can pop them up, is When Dimple Met Rishi. This was a super cute YA contemporary. I didn't read many contemporaries this year, and this was super fun. It's this girl going to college, or to this summer program to help develop an app, and this boy goes up there as well to do the same thing, but maybe not the same thing. And it was super cute. I loved every second of it. It's probably one of my new favorite YA contemporaries, and the audiobook was great. Next is Slay. This is like the YA version of Ready Player One, but the less competitive. This teenage girl just creates her own app, or her own video game, and it's like virtual reality. No one knows who's like made it. Her and a friend from overseas. Someone is threatening to release some information over, so she's getting into legal trouble, and throughout the book you find out all these adults are playing it, and then at the end how many people support her, and then it was wonderful. Such a fun time. So cute. Loved it. And our third honorable mention is Heartstopper. It made my heart stop, okay? It was so cute. I loved it so much. It was just adorable. I loved every second of it. The art style was amazing. I can't wait for the next one to come out. I think I'm caught up. And it's just such a cute relationship between Nick and Charlie, who is there. We're following them in their relationship, coming together, vacationing. We got a lot of LGBTQ plus representation in it, and I think it was just really cute. And I'm more intrigued for 2022 to pick up more of Alice Oseman's fictional novel works outside of their graphic novels. Next up is The City We Became, and this was so much fun. I loved every second of it. I felt like I was in New York the whole time. I loved the different elements of people inhabiting cities and becoming those cities, and you kind of feel that even though you're not in New York. Like, I'm not from New York, but I feel like I could do the same about like my hometown, and it's really fun. And the way that N.K. Jemisin wrote that was delectable to read. It made me want to go visit all the different boroughs of New York like yesterday. And then our final honorable mention is In the Dream House, and this was the only nonfiction. Honestly, it was in the top 10, but I think I bumped some things around, but it was like so close to being in the top 10. This was a beautiful, let me just read my Goodreads because I think I summed it up better there. So I say it's a stunning, eye-opening, gut-wrenching book telling the real story of Carmen's abusive relationship with her girlfriend, and she used horror tropes through it to weave this narrative, and it was such a beautiful personal experience shared through this creative narrative that just kept you so engaged and felt so heartbroken and so empowered by the end, and just like you're rooting. It was gorgeous. I loved it so much. It could at any moment go into the top 10. But that is all the honorable mentions. We are in the top 10, so just take a pause and guess what the top 10 are in the comments down below. Let me know, or what you think my number 1 book is. You did it? Great. So starting us off, as a book I don't have, is The Night Swim by Megan Golden. This was such a one of my favorite mysteries of 2021. It felt very much like I was playing Nancy Drew, and that alone holds so much nostalgia for me. I loved every second of it. The twists were phenomenal. The aspect of the podcast mixed with a real life court case was fascinating to read, and the audiobook was fantastic because it felt like you were listening to the podcast the entire time, and I just can't say enough good things about it. So yeah. And our number 9 spot is The Da Vinci Code by Dan Brown. I love the Robert Langdon series. I've loved every movie and every book so far. This is such a comfort read, and again, it holds so much nostalgia for me. I love the secret cults set in the real world of America, or the real world, and how that can implement, and how you're like, wait, what? And every book he always starts with there's a disclaimer, of a lot of the facts are real and some parts are just dramatized, but everything has happened. All the cults, groups, whatever you want to say, all the artwork, all like you can come to your own conclusions if you actually look for them, and that just makes it so much better. And yeah, next up is a book where it was hard getting through it in the beginning, but once I did, I was so in love with it, and that's Malibu Rising by Taylor Jenkins Reid in our number 9 spot. I read this for my first on my shelf for a long time or a good time video, I'll link somewhere, and this book deals with a character in Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, but like you don't need to read it to understand it, and the descriptions and the narrative of siblings and parents and how that all went about, and the relationship between all the siblings was so heartwarming, and I loved every aspect as I saw it reflected into my own life with my siblings, and the storyline and all the individual storylines of how they were trying to cope with their own things, and they didn't realize each other were doing certain things to help each other while their parents were going. It's a little bit morbid. That, and then mixed with the flashbacks of their parents and their beautiful love story into their tragic demise, just rocks you, and you're so attached to it. And the setting on the California coastline made you feel like you were there the whole time. The party was phenomenal. You had this countdown and you felt on the edge of your seat because you knew it was happening, but you didn't know how it was going to lead up to it. And it was wonderful. I loved it. I'm just gonna put these back here. Alrighty, in our next slot, this one is not a surprise to me that it's on here. It was honestly just figuring out the slot for it, which again, all of these 10 can be interchanged. I hate decisions. I hate them. But in my number 8 spot, or 7. Can I not count? What? 10, 9, 8. Wow, we are on 7. Is Elantris by Brandon Sanderson. Brandon Sanderson is one of my favorite fantasy authors. His work is always incredible. I love everything he usually does. Admittedly, all his first halves of the book are very slow, but then you start getting into it and you hit the Sanderland. Everything falls from there. You fall deeper in love with it. It keeps you so on the edge of your seat because of the character dynamic and not knowing exactly what's going to happen. It has a very interesting magic system, and so far this is standalone, but I know there's a second one in the works, just not coming out for a while. And I vividly remember sending my friend a Snapchat being like, sorry, I can't talk right now, having I'm going through it with like the last 100 pages of this book. I stayed up late reading this. Just not enough good things can be said. I love his work. It has one of my favorite things, unlike a cult to religion. We got that in there. We got like the estranged wife who thinks her husband's dead, and then all of that, and like the good versus evil, and just can't say enough. Can't say enough. And our number 6 spot is actually a surpriser. A surpriser? Surprise. Yeah. Is Sword of Destiny by Andrzej Sapkowski. This is like the final short story collection before the Witcher series. I love this so much. I don't know if it's because I started playing the video game, if I watched the TV show or what, but the first one I didn't like, but this one skyrocketed to like top 6. Then audiobook, I'm pretty sure helped with this. It immersed you into the story even more. Picturing Henry Cavill as the Witcher was great, along with Yennefer and Dandelion and everyone in it. I felt so connected in the story. It's very cinematic. I loved everything about it. I'm just surprised how much I like this one over The Witcher. I think that's it. Next is The Bourbon Kingdoms by N.K. Jemisin, the second book in the Inheritance trilogy. I loved this book so much. We're in the top 5, by the way. This is number 5. So are you right? Are you wrong? Have you guessed right? But I love this book so much. It had, one of my favorite things is the descriptions of cults and how they work and how they get people to believe in them. And there was all that. We follow a blind girl who's an artist who opens portals to different worlds, and using that magic was so interesting, especially following the aftermaths of the first book and then how it tied up at the end. I stayed up so late reading this. I just couldn't put it down. Comparing to the first one in this, how much more inclined and pulled into the story I was. I loved every second about it. It was such a fast page turner, and I'm like anticipating reading the third one. I just know I need to like let it sit for a little bit before I do, because that's a lot of pages. But yeah, wonderful, wonderful time. I can't hype it up enough. In our number 4 spot is The Inheritance of Orquídea Divina by Zoraida Cordova. This book was wonderful. It has those elements that I talked about in Malibu Rising, sibling dynamics mixed with a wonderful magic system mixed with, I don't even know, mixed with a circus, mixed with past and present. The magic system was something I've never even thought about. It was such a great twist on something everyone knows, and the dynamics between everyone felt very inviting and warming, and I can't sing enough praise about it because I love the writing so much, and I can't wait to read more of Zoraida Cordova's work. Thanks to Book of the Month, because I got you from there. I feel like I'm not giving all these books justice, but listen, I'm trying. And our number 3 spot is The Shadow of the Gods by John Gwynne. I just finished this recently in the beginning of December. I love it so much. It follows these Nordic mythology. We follow 3 different characters. 2 of them are kind of going for that redemption, like you killed my son, so I'm gonna kill you type thing. And then we have very interesting magic. I loved learning about the Nordic mythology. I loved the writing. John Gwynne's writing was phenomenal. I've never read a fight scene that was so easy to follow and it felt cinematic. It's been a while since I've done that. I don't know who to compare that to, but yeah, that. And with that, the twist at the end had me jaw drop on the floor. It's still kind of on the floor. I wish I was recording my reaction at the time because I was so shocked by the ending and the dynamic. I just loved it so much. I loved the mother fighting for her son, training these 2 like orphans to seek their revenge. A revenge plot, that's what it's called. But taking these 2 orphans to help them train to seek their revenge for their father dying, mixed with like this other soldier seeking his revenge but falling in love with this army that's like the elite army, and then following someone else who is a warrior seeking to change her own destiny predetermined by someone else. I can't wait for the next one. Like, anticipation. And our final 2, I still don't know. I'm still debating about it. Just know that these are very interchangeable and they could easily switch out any other day. But because of how recently I read this, I'm gonna have to give this to number 2. But that is Rabbits by Terry Miles. I loved this book so much. I've just recently posted a vlog for it during WinterReads, so you should read that. Catch that, I'll post that somewhere. But it's a spoiler for the vlog. Oops. This tells the story of a person playing this secret game, underground game that is turning deadly and only they can change it. It is giving me, I compare it as The Matrix meets The Da Vinci Code, which is another favorite book of mine. You deal with these like secretive like game company that are questioning reality at times, and it's so aloof. Is that a word? Their motives are this game possibly could have been going on for centuries, millennia, because things appear and things that the timeline doesn't match up. The writing was phenomenal. It was so fast-paced. I couldn't put this down. I woke up and like immediately read this, and the cover is beautiful. Like, I love this so much. If this becomes a movie, I'm here for it. The author is a screenwriter. He's a filmmaker, so like, get on it, Terry. I'm here. I'll be your first in line. I'll act in it. I'll be someone. I want it. But I love this so much. I highly, 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 highly recommend this because it has you guessing, it has you oohing and awing and tensing up. And another element I really loved about it is you don't really know the gender of the main character. And I think somewhere Terry said their gender, but I kind of like having this mysterious, are they male, female, non-binary, transgender, outside of the gender spectrum. Like, you can really place yourself into the character, which makes it accessible to every person because you can see yourself more into the character because there's not much physical description besides like I wore jeans and a t-shirt, and like anyone can do that, which again, don't know if that's intentional. I could be reading into it, and of course always seek other people's reviews who falls under those spectrums. There it is. But yes, highly, highly recommend. And my number one book of 2021. Did you guess it? I bet you didn't. It is Parable of the Sower by Octavia E. Butler. This is the only book I've ever tabbed outside a nonfiction book. This follows Lauren, who is in the dystopian, at the time a dystopian. It's eerily set in 2020s, which, hello 2022? Terrible climate change has struck California and the world, and they're in gated communities living like very like what you expect dystopian worlds to be. And she was raised in this religious family. Her dad was a pastor, and now she's questioning everything about her religion, her way of life, the world around her. And after tragic events, it sends her to go on the trail to somewhere else, or to Canada, to seek shelter. And because they say like it's safer up there and they have things to help. But along the way, she's put through trials and tribulations. She meets people and she starts this community, and she starts finding her own religion that's based on change. And she keeps a journal through all of this. And all the chapters start with an excerpt from her Book of Earthseed, which is like quotes and ways that they live by. She collects this community, and the second book was a wonderful tie-in, but that's not on the list. Though I did really enjoy that one too. This one, it was exactly what I wanted. I've been wanting a dystopian, and it was eerily like some of the things being said in it have happened in the recent years, and it's very like alarming and very like, did Octavia Butler, like, were they able to see into the future? Because it was eerily how some things were lining up and how some things are predicted to go as of now in our future. I highly recommend this. I can't sing enough praise for this. But yeah, so with that, those are my top 10 books plus The Night Swim. It was a really good reading year. I had so many great finds. I'm so excited for next year. This year is 2022 now. Let me know what your favorite book of the year was, or your top 5 or whatever, some of your favorite reads. I can't wait to reread some of these. I'm already like, I want to read like a handful of them already, at least 5. I can't wait to see what's going to pull through in this next upcoming year. Please let me know what you thought. Let's leave a star emoji, because these were all shining stars. Every book I've read this year was a shining star. I love them all so much, so equally in their own ways. But thank you so much for watching. I hope you had a wonderful date night or whatever, and I hope you had fun celebrating whatever you may be celebrating. Thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe so you can see tomorrow's video, which are my 22 anticipated reads. That's such a lie. I don't know what tomorrow is. You should subscribe so you can see, and I'll see you in tomorrow's video. Bye.